go to your page. See we go live. Now I do see the in live now.
Yep. Yep, same spot.
Do I need to make this bigger on there or leave it?
You can leave that like that. That's just a preview.
See it on?
My head looks so big on here.
No, it don't.
It do.
You got the box. Okay, everybody live but me. Oh, because I'm live on that.
Try to refresh your page.
Yours live?
No.
I can see it on there.
That's cool. Long as you, I think mine is.
No, so don't make sense.
Yours, man, yours too. Okay, I'm in there. I'm in there. All right, first and foremost, I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of the Pros and Cons podcast. Today we are today we starting a series that we're actually going to run all the way up until the beginning of the new year, and that's Women of Influence, Female Game Changers. And I'm honored today to have the opportunity to. I was talking to somebody. I'm like, you know, she almost like a daughter. Like I kind of just took to her. Ghalaysha Sanders, and I met this young lady, but we're gonna get off into that. But I'm so proud of her. She's super dope, and she's doing her thing. So I figured, and unfortunately, because we were supposed to start with, you know, the I don't want to call her my boss, but my partner, Dion.
Why you don't call her boss?
Because she ain't my boss. But she kind of, sort of. But since my girl leaving us, I said, well, we got to switch it up a little bit because I got to get her in before she go. She taking her, like LeBron say, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. She taking her talents to Houston.
Yeah.
So I said, well, we got to get you in so we can see. So appreciate you coming,
Thank you for having
hanging
me.
out with us a little bit. You know.
You good now?
No, she
No.
ain't. She says she's nervous. I'm like, why you nervous? You don't need to be
My palms
nervous.
all sweaty.
You amongst friends.
You see what they tell me when that happened? You know when I was at TCI, and I was like sweat. I mean, like literally, like just sweating.
No,
just pouring
because I
out.
feel like, oof.
So they just told me to relax and just tell my story. Say nobody can tell your story better than you.
Can't nobody tell your story better than you.
I don't know. I guess it's just the camera just looking
Oh,
directly.
why you?
Don't-
Oh, it's about you. The
Don't
spotlight on you.
look at the camera.
The spotlight on you. So let's get straight to it. I don't know what I done did, but I'll figure it out. How you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
Yes. A little nervous, but I'm good.
You ain't no need to be nervous. For you know it, you ain't even gonna be. The camera gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Right. So in full disclosure, I met Big G, and when I was in Lake Erie, she was a correction officer. She had just started, and I mean, just because she was a little sister, I immediately kind of took to her. And what I loved about her was her energy and her. It was so many times, and you can talk about this too. There was so many times when she would come in, she would be kind of upset because they would bother her because she come in, her nails pop. You know, she just because she coming to, you know, in the joint to work, she's I'm gonna be me, right? But another thing, they used to always bother her for because she ain't treat us bad. Like she ain't treated. She treated us like we was big brothers or whatever. And you know, they want you to put your foot on our neck, and she wasn't on
We
it.
know who they is.
Right, we know who they is, and she wasn't on it, you know. So I always respected that, man. I loved her for that, and let her know what I tell you. I kill a rock and drop a drop of water about it. Somebody bother, let me know. It's gonna be a wrap. So, and she used to always tell me, I don't know if you remember this, but she's always like, this ain't my future.
Yes.
Like this ain't I don't care about these people. This ain't my future. I got something else that I'm gonna be doing. I'm like, okay, that's what's up. So now seeing you doing your thing, I said, oh yeah, I got to make sure she come on board. So how's that process been?
At first, it was a little rocky. Now, like, I'm grateful that my business has grown the way that it did. Back then, when I was actually in corrections, I was still in beauty school. So I really never wanted to be a corrections officer. A friend of mine was getting into it, so she just kind of talked me into it. I was in beauty school full time, but I still have bills to pay. So I'm like, I got to do what I got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. I was so nervous. I was so afraid just being in that type of environment and hearing stories and stuff like that. I didn't know what I was, walking into.
Right.
What kind of stories did you hear? I'm always curious.
just heard-
I'm always curious about the stories y'all hear about
I'm about to hear
us
that too.
when they come through the door, man.
I heard some strange stories. Like, I'm thinking, like, when I went through training,
They all killers, rapists.
yeah, like, you a
Murderers.
woman and you going in there, they gonna be trying to do this and they gonna be trying. Some of the stuff was happening. I ain't gonna say, but
Scum of the earth.
they was saying like some crazy stuff, and then just me being like a woman, I'm not as big as a man, so I was in training with all boys, so I'm in there fighting, shooting weapons and stuff, getting sprayed in the face with. I'm like, what did I get myself into? Like, is this really what I'm gonna have to do? Like, when I did the self-defense training and stuff like that, I was just so nervous, and it got to a point where I'm like, I don't think I want to do this no more. That's how afraid I was, because I'm like, ain't no way y'all telling me I'm finna be going in there and they gonna be beating me up. I'm gonna get sprayed. They gonna be doing this, that, and the third. Once I actually got into it, it really wasn't as bad as people made it seem. It was more so the staff that was
Keep
the
it
problem.
100.
It was most definitely the staff. Being in that type of environment and hearing so many different stories and stuff like that, and then actually being front and center, the stories that like my brothers and my uncles, and just, we have a lot of felons in my family. So, like, they
Right.
tell a lot of stories and stuff like that, and I'm like, it can't be. Like, they ain't doing that
A lot
to
of
y'all.
stories about, I'm about to say, that's what I'm going to ask. A lot of stories about what the staff did to
Yes.
us, or just, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Until I actually started working there, and it's like, dang, these people is really messed up. And
Who
one,
was really messed up?
the staff.
Okay.
The staff.
I just wanted to clear that part
Yeah,
up.
it was definitely the staff.
Yeah.
Being like a black woman in a prison working in a prison system, like, it's majority black men. So honestly, it was more of like a respect thing. Like, they took to me a lot better because, of course, I'm a black woman. These men have daughters, mothers, aunties, female cousins that they love to death, and they can't see them. So for me to go in that type of environment and still treat them like human beings, like I would want to be treated, I got a lot of respect from the inmates and stuff
And
like
that's
that.
what I was about to say. Once you do that, you will get a lot of respect.
Yeah. So my biggest thing was this job is not my life. I just wanted to go to work and go home. So, like, I'm not here to make y'all life harder than what it already is. I can't imagine having to go through the stuff that y'all go through on a day-to-day basis. And I used to witness stuff like the COs coming in, doing rounds and stuff, just messing up all their legal papers, tearing down their family pictures and stuff like that. That type of stuff is so heartbreaking, and to see it firsthand and be like, dang, it ain't nothing they can do but just sit there and take it.
Now, before you actually seen it firsthand, like you said, you had family members. You assumed that they was exaggerating about
I
the
thought
stuff?
they was just being really dramatic.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like talking on the phone to like my brother or like my uncle, and like I'll hear like a CO like say stuff like, like, get off the phone, or I just used to be like, just get off the phone. If they told you get off the phone, or they'd say something like, something smart to the CEO, I'll be like, dude, chill out. It ain't that serious. Until I started actually working there, and I'm like, this is really, I don't want to do this no more. It got to the point where it was so draining and so overwhelming because I started to get written up for not having enough write-ups. Like, I wasn't writing
enough tickets.
Yeah, enough tickets. I'm like, wait a minute. So y'all want me to enforce the rules, and then when they follow them, I don't have to write them up. Now y'all writing me up. Like, it just didn't make sense to me.
Right. Well, a lot of it too was, you being able to get the respect that they couldn't get, and you being able to get brothers to do stuff that they couldn't do.
Right.
Especially for a black woman in that environment. Brothers, we just in that environment we crave that energy, right? So just in general, we're gonna be more receptive to you, right? In general, we're gonna be more, unless you come in and I done had some sisters come in, they just some straight, you know what I'm gonna say, and it was rough for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because black, white, or whatever, if you dogging us, you ain't got nothing coming. And I had one sister, I had actually told her she had made it her business to come in and dog us. And I remember writing a letter one day, and I'm like, she was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, I'm writing a letter. And so we get into this big old conversation about what we allowed to have and what we ain't allowed to have, right? And she made the statement, if I was the one making the policies, y'all wouldn't have nothing. I wouldn't let y'all have nothing. It's supposed to be this hard, da da da. I said, listen to me, understand this. They allow us to have these things to pacify us, to keep us from making y'all time hard. Because if you take everything from us, we're gonna turn on y'all.
Exactly.
Right? And what you fail to realize is the same people that you dogging us for ain't gonna be the people that save you when something happens.
Exactly.
If that door get jammed, by the time they get to you, whatever's gonna happen gonna been done happen. It's gonna be brothers like myself who gonna keep that from happening. So when you come in, I'm not saying don't come in and do your job and don't get ran over, but you don't have to make the extra effort to dog us, because that's not gonna get you nowhere. Someone like her is gonna get way further just treating us nice than you coming in trying to show us that you so super tough or whatever, because we ain't gonna try to hear it. So I always appreciated that about you, and I remember you used to tell me like, yeah, I don't like this, like this is, and so for you to leave without letting it change you is commendable, because I've seen good sisters come in there and get changed and become hard and callous.
The crazy thing is, at one point, I kind of was like that. It's such a hostile environment, so I still have to deal with certain people that still, did certain messed up stuff to me or talk crazy to me and stuff. So you still got to be on your toes all the time. You got to be a little more aggressive. And I'm not like a aggressive woman. I'm like super girly, I just, like I'm not like that. So it got to the point where like I would take that aggression home with me. Like I didn't know how to turn it off. So my partner, my significant other at the time, he'd be like, who you think you talking to? And I never used to notice it, and it really did start to change me. Like the people around me started to notice, like, yeah, that job is turning you to like, I had another sister who she'll actually say that to me, that she was about to quit. Well, she had quit, but she had quit at one time because she started taking that stuff home to her dude, and was talking to her dude crazy, and now it's starting problems in our household and
right.
stuff, because I don't know how to talk to this man with respect no more, because I gotta, it's like a
bunch of people that don't really have respect for themselves, and they definitely don't respect you.
Yeah. So it was hard. It was draining, and he knew how bad that the job was bothering me. It would be days where like I'm getting mandated back to back to back to back. Like I couldn't sleep, and then I'm driving an hour away from home, so like I can't function when I am off of work. I can't spend time with my partner, my family, and friends and stuff like that. I remember one day I just got up, and this is the day I actually quit. It was like snowing.
I was gone by then.
You was.
I was gone.
You
okay.
was. I was sad too. I got up. It was snowing so bad, and I was so scared to drive. even my dad knows, like, I do not like driving in the snow. At that time, I could barely drive in the snow. So I got up, and I'm getting ready for work, and I was sitting on the end of the bed, like, bawling my eyes out. And he just knew, he like, if you don't want to go back, you don't have to. Like, we'll figure it out. And I was, like, a little younger back then, so, like, he's working full-time. I'm still in beauty school, so I really cannot afford to quit this job, you know. But that's how much it was bothering me. And I'm like, I just can't do it no more. I went to work. I drove up there, and it was really bad. Like, they get it really bad up there.
They get
So
it bad.
yeah,
Like what you was talking about in
Minnesota.
where it's like this high,
Yes.
and then it's private, so they ain't doing it. They can care less about plowing.
exactly. They not doing
like,
the roads
yeah,
or
none
nothing.
of that.
So I drove to work, and on my way to work, it was like so dark because I was working overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already dark when it's like a blizzard and stuff like that. I get into a car accident, run off the road, total my car. I didn't have my charger with me, so my phone is dying.
Wow.
So
It sounds like a scary movie.
Yes,
a horror movie.
like-
Everything that can wrong going
yes,
wrong.
it's going wrong. I'm like, I should have never started working here. Like, I was just so stressed out. So I actually called them. I don't know if it was like the sergeant or whoever. I spoke to him, and I'm like on the side of the road. I'm scared. My phone is about to die. I don't know where I'm at or nothing. He like, all right, well, you think you still gonna make it to work? Or
Right, that's all he cared about.
I
Of
looked at
course.
my phone like, excuse me, like, what you mean? Can I
Did you
still?
just not hear what I said?
Yeah, like, I was so confused. I'm like, you know what? I'm just considering quitting, honestly. Like, I can't do this, and I can't keep putting my health in jeopardy, you know, my life in jeopardy driving up here. And he like, all right, well, thanks. Like, that was it. Like, I just felt like I held no value to him. Like,
Right.
I was so replaceable to them to the point where I'm just like, yeah. I
And
can't
the
do
truth
this.
was, you were.
Yeah.
The truth is, you were.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No different than, you know, they don't see us as human beings.
Right.
These numbers,
Right.
right? They almost look at y'all the same
Right,
way. You know,
exactly.
unless you establish some type of personal relationship with them
Mm-hmm.
or somebody, you just you're an employee, plug and play.
Yeah.
You gone, we gonna plug somebody else,
Yeah.
and we're gonna train them
Yeah.
the same way, the cookie cutter way, and put them in that position. And
Yeah. It was-
trial by fire, figure it out.
Yeah.
But somebody like her, they be glad that she's gone or they got rid of her.
It was actually, it was to the point where, like, they were all so close to each other because it was only like 3 black women working
Yeah.
there at the time,
Yeah,
2 or
outsiders.
3. So I was the outsider because I was the only one that was actually, like, really on the yard and in the units and stuff like that. So they would all team up on me or, you know, get smart with me, say little stuff on the slide, come in, disrespect the inmates in my unit, and then leave, and I got to clean the mess up. Like, they would do everything in their power to keep writing me up, to get a paper trail on me. They didn't want me there in the first place, but I
Right.
didn't want to be there as much.
Well, they
as
didn't want no
me.
blacks there unless you was
Yeah.
one of those, one of
Yeah.
their kind of blacks. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And this was at Lake Erie. It's private, so and they racist. Like they racist. Like she said, it was only like 3.
You said
it was
private, it was a private prison?
private prison, yeah. And I don't even know if it was like 5 blacks all together.
It's my partner. I don't know if you remember, but
Yeah.
my partner was a black guy.
Yeah. And then you had Eric's. Eric Ville's sister Joanna was the she would be like the major in the Lake Erie. They call it chief. In the state joint, it'd be like a major, like the major or something, right? And then like I think like 2 or 3 other ones. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't kissing their butt, if you ain't going along with they play or whatever it is they putting down, then you out. You almost treated worse than us
Yeah.
because they kind of scared of us. So they only go on, you know, unless it's a group of them. Then you know they
Yeah.
super tough. But
Mm-hmm.
but this is a
Good
little
old
bitty
boys.
girl. She ain't good old boys. So
Because the thing about that is, I know majority of the prisons is built in a white populated city.
rural area, yeah. For
So-
jobs.
Mm-hmm. So that's, and then it's like in a small town. So that's their main job.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to come from another city, a bigger city, you definitely consider outside. Then you're not interacting with them. So you had so many strikes against you where they was trying to get rid of you much as you was trying to leave yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But we can go on about this for all day. This what I want to know. This what I want to know. How was your mind frame in far as switching from working at a prison like that
Mm-hmm.
to pursuing your dream, your plans, your goal, to owning your own business?
Okay, when you say like how was my mind frame?
Yeah, how was
like,
your mindset?
I mean, it always have been something that I wanted to do. The day that I got into that car accident though, and when we exchanged words over the phone and stuff like that, I instantly got into grind mode. Personally, I'm not a woman that's like, I'm not a 9 to 5. I can't work for nobody. The way I live my life and the way I like to live my life, I like to do everything on my terms. Like
Right.
It's my way or no way. So even just having to clock in was a bit much for me because I'm like, I don't ever want to work for nobody. I feel like women shouldn't have to work, period. But I don't want to work for nobody. So I instantly just kind of got in this mode to where like, okay, I'm going to finish beauty school. I'm going to start promoting my business.
How much longer did you have to go in school before you?
I had like 4 more months left.
4 more months,
Yeah,
and you
so-
quit that day that you
Yeah.
had a conversation with.
Mhm.
So you still had 4 more months of school,
Yeah.
and you still had to pay for them 4 more months.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's definitely grind mode.
Yeah.
time.
I started taking clients at my house, and I was not allowed to do that at the time. I was living in these apartments, so my neighbors was always like telling on me and stuff, and I was just going back and forth with my landlord, telling her like, "Do y'all want this rent or not?"
Grind
Like,
mode.
yeah, like I had so much on my plate, so that really just pushed me to really pursue
Yeah.
my dream and being like a brow tech and stuff like that. So by the grace of God, this was like 2016.
Yeah.
This was a while ago, and
Yeah.
it's my business have grown so much since then.
What's the name of your business?
Beauty. Well, the brand is Beauty by G.
Did I hear that?
She was supposed to bring something, something to,
Yeah, we had to get your name out there.
put out there.
Yeah, I was
you know,
supposed to bring some of my products. I can't spoil it though.
but- Okay.
'Cause I'm about to relaunch.
Okay.
So
Okay.
no spoilers. I'm a brow tech, so basically I
Is that what you
specialize
went?
in.
You went to school for?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know why I thought you went to school for.
What,
Cosmetology?
Yeah,
That's-
not cosmetology, for nails and makeup and stuff.
That's what it's aesthetics.
Okay,
But
okay, all right,
my
okay.
main thing is eyebrows,
Brows,
lashes,
okay.
that type of stuff. So,
So you can do all that.
Yeah.
So your main focus is
it's brows, yes. When I first started out, I was just doing like certain brow services. But now I'm a PMUA, which is a permanent makeup artist. So I do like tattooing. Like I do tattoo makeup.
That's when you went down to
That's when I
Atlanta
went
to do,
to
right? Was it Atlanta?
Vegas.
Vegas, okay.
And I
yeah.
took my class.
Yeah, I've been keeping up. I've been
Yeah.
like, look at my girl. Yeah, you got
So, I
certified.
have to get certified in that. So now my clientele has grown tremendously in Texas. So that's
Really?
where I'm taking.
Now, how did Texas come into play?
I've always wanted to move to Texas. Like I don't know why Houston was always like
my daughter.
a lit area to me to thrive in as far as
Mhm.
beauty goes. So it got to the point where my clientele was getting so large here, but like I said, I like to live my life a certain type of way,
Right.
and I feel like I was outgrowing this city, which I am. And it was
And there
just
ain't nothing
time
wrong
for
with
me.
that
Yeah,
either.
there's
You
not
shouldn't feel
anything
bad
wrong with
about
that. I don't.
Do people try to make you feel bad about
Yeah,
leaving?
yeah.
We
I
selfish, we
But- Yeah, we are, but the whole thing about it is that's why I asked your mind frame, because I know, making that transition like that, a lot of people is scared,
I'm very scared.
but you motivated.
Yeah.
Because that accident and that conversation, what really pushed you over, it actually helped you.
Yeah.
So I believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, it was a blessing
So
in disguise.
by you getting into the accident, thank God that you safe. We aren't hurt nothing like that. By you getting to the accident and having that conversation with that sergeant, that what helps push you over the edge.
Exactly.
Because he'll tell you, Shimmy tell you that I'm big on far as own business.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said that, you know, and I'm glad you're successful because that's a story in itself. And everybody that I'm around, that's the first thing I say to them. We got to a point where I said, listen, I'm stopping mentioning this to anybody because first thing everybody say is, that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn, that's what everybody should want to do.
Right.
That's what's wrong with black people now. We don't own nothing.
Right.
We don't try to own nothing. We want to work for everybody. But my thing is striving to be better. You know, you putting all that time in for somebody else, you can put that time in for yourself.
Exactly. And that's how I felt. I felt like every job I had, like I was helping build somebody else's dream and I was sleeping on mine. Like, and I'm like, I can't do this no more. Like, but that day, that's what really pushed me. And ever since then, like it has, like, of course, everybody go through their struggles and stuff like that. It has been some
You wanna
bumps
share
in the
some?
road. Huh?
You want to share some?
Mhm.
And I just say
Mhm.
some because one of the things when we did this, when we made the decision to do female game changer or women of influence, is to inspire some other ones,
Mhm.
right? It's the same what we were gonna do,
Yeah.
brothers, right? And people, I took a business class, and they said most businesses fail 9 times before
Yes.
they succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But we stop at the 3rd time,
Right.
right? Like, man, I tried this 3 times, it ain't gonna work. I'm done.
Yeah.
When the statistics say you got 5 more times to stop
Yeah.
to fail before you become
Yeah.
successful, but we give up too soon, right? And I think we need more stories of
Right.
sisters who make, or not just sisters, of us making that transition to entrepreneurship, but understanding it's gonna be hard, understanding it's gonna be struggles, understanding, you know,
Yeah.
sleepless nights or whatever that process is, it ain't gonna happen overnight.
Yeah.
I think people need to really understand that and hear more of that.
Sure.
So when they in that, they're like, okay, I've been told that this
Right.
is gonna be part of the journey.
Okay, so once I stopped working at the prison, I was having my clients come to the house and stuff like that, but you aren't allowed to work from home without like your salon license and stuff like that. So I actually had to start working again. I started working at this nursing home and I hated it so bad. Like, I'm not a morning person. I was working mornings. So now I'm working 16-hour shifts again. I can't do my clients like I want to. So now it's like, dang, am I going to start losing my clientele because I can't service them anymore and they're going to go elsewhere? I was so stressed, but it's like, you got bills to pay. This is life. This is adulting. And at the time, I was very young, and I'm only 25 now, but at the time I was really young. And imagine, like, my father, Tracy, he's not my biological father, but he's always been in my life since I was like
That's your
2.
father.
Yeah.
Dad.
So, I wasn't like, he's always been there if I called him, like if I truly needed him. But I'm so used to not ever having like my mom and my biological father. I didn't grow up with parents that I can just call like, Mom, I'm struggling, I need this. Dad, I need this. I wasn't in a family to where we all, like, my mom and her kids was always kind of the less fortunate ones. My mom was in foster care and stuff like that. So she's trying to heal from childhood traumas herself. So we went through a lot. I went through a lot being the oldest child. I always had a lot of
At one point, you got to
responsibility.
take care of your siblings, right? I remember us having this conversation.
Yes. So I don't have kids, but I had to be mom to them and to my mother. She struggled and stuff like that. So not ever having anyone in my corner that I can lean on, that was really hard for me. So at the time, I'm like, you know what, I just got to do what I got to do. And I kind of did give up on my business at one point. I'm like, maybe this is life for me. Like, maybe this is what God want me to do. And then one day, I went to work, and it's something about people knowing that they are superior of me and treating me like I'm lower than them. Like, it just didn't sit well with me. And I remember I came to work, the nurse, my boss, she had the worst attitude, always had a really bad attitude. And me being me, I feel like I'm a woman just like you is. Just because you in a higher position, like, it's just a respect thing, and I just don't tolerate it. Disrespect of any kind from anybody. That's because I had to grow up so fast, being, you know, the oldest of my mom's children and stuff like
being
that.
an adult before you
Yeah,
needed to be
exactly.
an adult.
So I just feel like, don't talk to me crazy. Give me the same type of respect you want to receive. And I came to work, like I said, I'm not a morning person, so I'm already mad. I got to get up, come to work in this nursing home. It's just not, you know, it's just not my thing. So she said something out the way to me about me having my nails done. I like to keep my nails done. I like to keep my lashes done and stuff like that. She said something like, I don't know who she trying to impress. It was something like that, like something slick, and it made me so upset that we started going back and forth. I'm like, you know what? I took my shirt off and everything. Like, we had to wear like uniform. I took the shirt off. Like, y'all can have this. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do after that, but I'm like, my landlord, as far as my clients coming to the house, you just gonna have to get over it. You want your rent, don't you? So me and her worked something out to where she allowed me to keep having my clients come to the house, and I don't know.
Well, what was her problem with your clients coming to the house? I can
it's-
understand why the school would have a problem with it.
Right.
But-
It's actually illegal to conduct business out of your
Yeah.
home. You
Oh,
cannot do
okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll affect the landlord.
And
Whoever
then
owns
like
it,
all the
basically.
traffic coming in, my clients are taking up parking spots and stuff like that at an apartment complex. That's
Yeah,
a
okay.
problem, you know. So I mean, we worked it out. At that point, I just was really kind of over ever having a job again. That's the last time I ever clocked in, and that was years ago. Like, I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know. It's like something about me and God. I'm so spiritual. It's like, you know, it's gonna get done some way, somehow. Like, I'm so big on like praying and stuff like that. Like, it used to be nice where I just used to cry my eyes out and just pray. Even after me and my significant other at the time, we broke up and he went on about his business, I still had to get stuff done. So I just used to pray about it, and I don't know, I guess God was like, you know what, here. And he just put everything on my plate, and it was a lot, but that's what I asked
You
for.
handled it.
Yeah, so
And
So how long was you in school
I was in school for...
in total?
This is a crazy thing. This is another obstacle. I
Give it
was
to 'em.
so stressed out. When I had started being a corrections officer, I was in school, but you know, you got to go away to training
Go
in
away where?
Columbus
Okay.
and stay in like these dormitories
Really?
for like a month and a half or so. You cannot be out of school that long. They dropped me from the program.
Okay.
So I had about 4 months left when I came back, but they didn't want to let me come back at first because they like, you just dropped out of school, and I'm telling them like I had bills to pay. I had to go away for training and stuff like that. It took me a while for them to even accept me back into the school. So they told me I had to write like a essay why I need to come back to the school and stuff like that. It was just so much that they put me through to even allow me to be back in the school. They ended up accepting me. Like, I had to write like this long letter to them and stuff like that. But it was just like, at one point I just felt like God was picking on me.
another
Like,
test
yeah, it was so, I'm like, all
to see
right
if
now.
to see if you actually serious about
Yeah.
doing this,
Right.
and by you doing that, they see that you was. So they probably already had the spot for you. So I can't say if they created the spot or whatever, but it just opened up. But they already probably had it
Yeah,
because they just want to see if you were serious.
exactly. So,
So now you can transition from CO to entrepreneur.
yes.
You struggle at the beginning, right?
I
Stay
still
with it.
struggle here
Stay
and
with
there,
it.
but I stayed with it.
Stay
Yeah.
with it, which is a key thing,
Yes.
right? What would be three, if you can give me three,
Mhm.
three pieces of advice you would give young entrepreneurial, I ain't gonna just say women, young entrepreneurs who are
Black.
starting,
Black.
young black entrepreneurs who are starting out on the path to entrepreneurship.
Of course, when it's obstacles and stuff, you cannot give up.
Antoinette said she loved me, she's proud of
Thank you. I love you too.
me.
You cannot give up because it is gonna get hard. Like, it was times where I just used to get on my hands and knees and pray and just cry my eyes out because I knew the life that I wanted to live. I knew what I deserved. Growing up in a family where you were always the kid that didn't have what your cousins had and stuff like that, that's very tough. So
Yeah.
wanting to break certain generational curses and stuff like that and not having the proper resources and have to do so much on your own, it's really hard, but you really just have to keep at it. One of my biggest things, and I tell everybody this, like, God's no is really never rejection. It's kind of just a redirection. And I feel like when one door closed, you gotta just praise him in the hallway so another one open. Like, like, that's just how I live my life, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
you just gotta keep the faith. Sometimes I make certain moves that I'm really afraid about. Like how I'm really afraid to move to Houston because I have to kind of start over. But sometimes you just got to take a leap of faith
Absolutely.
and just trust.
What you been through, trusting yourself and trusting God.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And you know, it's crazy, and I say this all the time. I tell people all this time. I used to tell them to the class when I used to teach the class in prison, right? You'll have a sister who might have a baby in her belly, one on the hip, or might not have none, but willing to take chances to go somewhere. Do you know people? Do you know somebody? Like, you got family in Houston?
No.
So you going somewhere, you don't know nobody for real, to try to live your dream. And that's really against a woman's nature, because a woman's nature is to settle and build, right? Our nature is supposed to be to go out and conquer the land and
Right.
slay the dragon. But we'll stay in the same cesspool because we scared to go somewhere else to try something different, knowing that these dudes is going to stab us in the back,
Yeah.
do all of these different things, but we here, and we somebody here, and I'm comfortable here. I remember, I always say this, I remember going to the parole board and telling them, I lived in Boston and Baltimore, and I played football. I had football scholarship and everything. Was scared to death. I wish I had your strength back then. My life would have been a lot different.
Right.
But was scared of that unknown. But I wasn't scared to come back to the hood and sell some drugs,
Right.
carry a pistol, get shot at, and do all of these things because I was accustomed to it. I knew that.
Right.
I didn't know what this was going to lead to. I'm cool on that. I'm running from that. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of strength and self-awareness, and you being able, especially so young, by yourself.
And I
to do
think,
that.
I honestly think that comes from, just like I said, always having to be a mother to my younger siblings. My mom wasn't an in-house mother. Like, she liked to run the streets. And I love my mom to death. Like, I would never take away from her being such a great mother, like a great woman. But she fell short in a lot of areas where I really needed her and I didn't have her. So I was 7 years old, cooking on the stove, making bottles. I got to get my school clothes ready for me and my little brother.
Yes.
And then it's an infant
Yes.
in the house. And I got to make bottles for him. I got to learn how to heat up a bottle in the microwave and cook stuff on the stove. I'm 7 years old doing this type of stuff. So growing up, even like as a teenager, I didn't have much of like a social life
teenage, like a typical teenager should
A
have.
typical life that a teenager and a kid should have, because I always had to be a mom so early. So it was stuff that I had to sacrifice as a kid to make sure that my two little brothers were okay.
Right.
Like, as long as they okay, I don't need to play outside. I don't
Right.
need to have
Where did you
this. I
get
don't-
that from, though? Like I said, where did that come from? Because you don't know what sacrifice is when typically at 7 years old. You know, it's all it's
honestly,
about me.
it kind of
like,
just was like being the oldest child. It's like a natural thing to just make sure that your younger siblings are okay. At the time, as a kid, I'm not knowing it's sacrifice and stuff,
Yeah.
but I just used to be like, in my head, like, give that to my brothers. Like, you don't got to give it to me. Just give it to them so they don't be crying and stuff like that. Like, I used to just kind of suffer in silence just so they can be comfortable in certain areas. Like, but I'm a kid doing this, so happen to be so dominant at such a young age and knowing like I got to do this just so my little brothers will be okay. I've carried that for so many years as a young woman and a adult now, to the point where it's just like everything is just grit and grind to me. Like, I just be feeling like even if it makes me uncomfortable, I have to do it because these are the steps I have to take to become successful and to live comfortably.
So you say your business is growing in Houston already, and you ain't even down there?
Yes. It actually, the crazy thing is, one day there's a singer. She's a celebrity. Her name is Anaya Lamise, and she does music with like so many different people, like Chris Brown and like so many other celebrities. She dropped an album, and I recorded myself singing a song off of her album.
You
And I
sing
posted
too?
it on Instagram. Yes.
Okay, that's okay. Go ahead.
Revenue.
I posted it on my Instagram, and she's from Houston, Texas. One day I get on my Instagram and I couldn't, like, my phone kept going off in the middle of my sleep, and I was so confused, like, who the heck keep calling me? Or my phone just kept buzzing in my sleep, and I remember I'm tired, so I just threw my phone off the bed. Like, my phone keep vibrating. So I wake up and I look at my phone, and I literally got over like thousands, like my notification numbers just kept going up. And I got on my Instagram, and my Instagram page was crashing. I didn't know that she found the video and posted it on her page. So that's where my Houston following came from.
Okay.
Of course, she got people in other states following her. So, like, I started to fly out back and forth to Atlanta to service clients out there and stuff like that. And like I said, I've always wanted to move to Houston. And her being from Houston, her whole following just kind of,
Came along.
yeah. So that's where
That's
that
dope.
came from.
This is why I will
That's
move
God.
down south in a couple more years.
Why?
It's
I mean, it's
I
different.
did feel it like it's different vibe than up here.
I went to just before I got locked up. I went to a Black Expo in North Carolina, and just from a single male perspective, I'm like, I'm talking about the sisters was beautiful.
Yeah.
That southern hospitality was real.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
it is.
I'm like, man, like, this what's up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. Okay, so that makes sense. Now you already got built in. So but that should take a little bit of the fear away, right? I would think a lot of the fear would be trying to take care of yourself and build your clientele.
Because it's like the clientele is there, but just
Your work
going
don't speak for
somewhere.
itself.
Yeah, and it just going somewhere where you just not familiar with nothing. Like, I don't have any friends down
How
there.
your brothers feel
no
about
fam-
that?
The crazy thing is, my brother, he's actually incarcerated. He's in prison, and he's always been my son. Like, my brothers are like my first kids. So I'm his mom. In his head, I'm mom. You know, my mom is just like one of the homies, but I'm mommy. So I didn't tell him because I didn't know how to tell him, because he's about to come home soon, and he's so used to me sheltering him.
So he still don't know right now?
He knows now. Actually, he found out. Somebody told him, because I have to put it on my social media platforms and stuff like that. So one of his little friends told him like, I heard your sister moving to Houston, and he said he was like, man, my sister ain't crazy, she ain't gonna leave us. And he felt so bad, and he like, wait, so you and I told him like, no, I am moving to Houston next month. And he was like, next month? And he got quiet. He like, sis, I am kind of choked up about that. Like, he's actually really hurt. He like, what I'm supposed to do when I come home? I'm like, you supposed to live your life. You're an adult now. And that's another reason why I really wanted to move away. It's just because having the responsibility of still having to be a mother to adults. My mother, my mom is in the streets. She's a drug addict. It's not a secret, you know. Everybody got some type of something
For sure.
in their family.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's not something I hide from people. It actually helps me as a woman because I know what type of mother and what type of woman I want to be to my kids. So, to my mom, I'm like a mother to her. I take care of her. I take care of my brother and stuff like that. So, having that weight on my shoulders is such a responsibility, and it's actually very draining and very tiring because I'm a single woman. I'm running a business. I got to deal with 1 million clients over here, 1 million clients over here. On top of my mom always needing something, I always have to be like her savior. On top of my brother always needing something. It's so stressful to the point where I'm like, I got to get away from this.
So do you think, and I say this knowing the type of person you are, do you think by moving away that you still will be able to get away from those responsibilities?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I'm hoping, but I mean, I'm gonna always be there for them when they need me and stuff like that. But I've been trying to. I'm so much of a sucker for them because I love them so much, and it's always been that way. Even when the world go against my mother, I'm still her biggest advocate. Like, I still have to protect her and make sure that she's okay. And you know, it's a lot of stuff that you hear, like about drug addicts, period, the way people talk about them, the way people treat them and stuff like that. Nobody wants to be the daughter of a drug addict because you hear so much crazy stuff, and it's just like, y'all don't understand. No matter what she do, this woman had me. Like, it would be no me if it wasn't for her and my biological father, who was also a drug addict. So it's just like, even when the whole world is against her, I still have a soft spot for her because that's my mom.
For sure.
So, you know, it's stressful, but like I said, this was, if I'm this far away, I can't just up and come, you
Right.
know, like, so I don't know. It's going to be hard because, of course, I don't want to leave my mother, especially she's comfortable here because she has me. So it's just like, I want her to be okay. I want her to be safe. I don't want her to be in the streets and stuff like that. But I've gotten to the point where I'm actually ready to have kids myself.
Really?
I want to, I want children.
Okay.
I'm ready to just
You
start
got
my
a suitor?
own foundation. Huh?
You got a suitor?
No.
You ain't got to tell us who it is.
I don't,
You know?
honestly. I don't.
You just in that space.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm in the headspace to where, like, I'm very open to dating because I'm a dater. Like, you know, I like to date and stuff like that. So I'm single 100%.
Y'all hear that? 100%.
Yeah.
What
No,
kind of guys
but-
do you like?
Oh Lord.
Put you in the front. I was thinking that question. But I wasn't gonna
I'm
ask.
gonna
it.
ask.
I'm
man.
gonna ask.
I'm gonna ask, man.
See,
we gotta give you. We gotta give you know. You gotta give brothers. You know, some type of. You know.
Hold on. You're very headstrong. So I gotta ask this question since he brought that part up. You're not one of the type of women that have a list.
But what you mean, a list?
You know.
No, a list.
He gotta be 6 foot.
Yeah.
200 pounds. Dark. Waves.
6-pack.
Not,
Yeah. Right.
not really.
No.
No.
Thank you.
Top 3 qualities you want in your man.
Okay. I don't want to make this sound. Dang,
Hey,
y'all
say
put me on
it.
the
Say it.
spot.
Listen. Say it. Mm-mm.
Number 1, you gotta have some money. Let's start there. And not
Nothing
even
wrong with
just,
that.
Hey,
but
listen,
I just
There's
feel
nothing wrong with
like
that.
as a
You gotta have
woman,
something to come to the table.
exactly.
You won't be taking care
and
of him.
I feel like what as far as what I bring to the table, I am the table. And I feel like I'm
Talk that
entitled
talk
to have
then.
somebody who got their stuff
close
together.
to you or equal
Yes.
or above.
Yes.
Nothing under.
At nothing underneath
Now
me.
hold
I
on,
get that.
listen, hold
No,
on,
no,
hold
no,
on.
no, no.
And maybe it's because I'm the broke one on the panel, but
Oh,
hold
whatever.
on, listen,
Whoa,
hold on.
hold
I'm gonna get some push, and the reason I'm gonna say that, and I'll share a story, right? I get that, and and don't knock that, right? But for me, I feel like my bank account don't define me as a man.
Exactly.
It don't define my character. It don't define, you know what I'm saying? And and it's not going to define my role in my relationship.
Exactly.
Right now, I have been I have struggled with that. Right, but ultimately, my manhood is defined by how I move and how I carry myself. Now, I say this: I had my daughter. She's not my biological daughter, but me and her mom dated, and she has always been the closest thing to a daughter of mine. When she was younger, we was having a conversation. I just got incarcerated, and I had just was having a conversation, and I think she was like 12 or 13 or something. And she started, at the time, she started liking boys. You know, she at that phase. And so I'm like, what kind of boy you like? And she like, I don't like no nerd. Right? And I'm like, you don't like no, what's wrong with a nerd? She's like, I don't like no nerds, Daddy. So I'm like, you mean the pencil pocket carrying nerds or what? She like, just, I don't want no nerd. I say, and I'm like, why? She like, cause they ain't cool or something, right? I'm paraphrasing the conversation, but we talked about money, finances, men's roles, and things like that, right? And I advised her, and I still feel like this today. Get you somebody who is ambitious. Because you can get somebody who got some money and it's gone tomorrow, and they don't know how to get it again.
Absolutely.
I ain't saying don't get no, but I'm saying I was telling her, if you got a good guy he might not have no money, but he a good dude and he ambitious. That's who you what's the word I want? That's who you water. That's the garden you water. Because if you get it, go ahead.
I feel like personally, there is ambitious, good men who got their life together already. I've always been such a nurturer, so I've always been the one to like help people get on their feet and help. Even I've been in relationships to where I had to help somebody and stuff like that. But I feel like for me to struggle so long as a child and coming up in the way that I grind and stuff like that, when I wasn't at my best, I didn't expect no man to look at me in a light to where, like, when I'm not at my best, I can't even see myself trying to give myself to somebody, like, as far as a relationship goes, because I'm trying to get me together.
Exactly.
So I feel like me being such a good woman and having my life together, I deserve somebody who can meet me at my level. And I'm not taking away from men, you know, who, like how you just described, like, I'm not, you know, there's still good men out there and they don't have it all together yet, and that's perfectly fine. But as far as my life goes, that's the type of woman I am. I'm not talking about I want like a hood nigga with quick money, even though I like hood dudes. You know, like, have
What
those
is it about
stuff
hood
together.
dudes you like? So we know she like the hood dudes.
Bad boy.
Right.
No, it's levels.
It definitely is
Yes, it
levels.
is.
It's levels.
A lot of people don't know that. I don't
Yeah.
It's
understand
levels
that.
because
Definitely levels.
it's men who actually. Okay, I don't like hood dude. Like, it's not even really just about like the selling drugs stuff. I
Boys.
could care less about that. I like that whole. I don't know if it's just the demeanor. I don't know what it is, but it's guys.
The bravado.
It's guys who actually are doing really well, like they done turned their lives around and stuff like that, but they still got that mentality, they still got that hood, you know, it's still in them. I'm not saying I want a drug dealer. I don't want that at all. You know, like, I don't.
Right.
I get what
You
you
get
said.
what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like, it's
right. No
dudes
doubt.
like, you see how like you went to prison, but you came home and you flipped it, and you're doing all this positive stuff, but you still got it in you.
Yeah.
You know, that's more of my vibe. Like,
Did I lose mine? no, I'm just joking. But
I understand.
the thing, that's why I said what I said, because I look at it like, from the short time I know you, we've been talking, I can pick up on certain things quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, only reason why I said that, piggybacking off of his question, is because you have a lot of guys that front like they doing good or whatever, but then when they get close to you and you start feeling them, then they want you to take care of them.
yeah.
And I was having a conversation with somebody today, and I was telling her about, you know, she came to me for advice, and she was like, you know, telling me her situation, and I'm telling her, like, your baby father is really not about your child. It's about you. He don't
Right.
have you. He wants you. So it's not about the child. He's using the child to make it about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a man.
Right.
Because a man's going to sit there, regardless of what the woman want to do or
He's
whatever,
still gonna take care of his
Himself?
responsibilities.
and his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
he's worried about her. And that's the problem with, I see since I've been home, a lot of men is worried about the woman and not their kids or their self.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like children. Some of them 30, 40, 50 years old, and they like children.
Mm-hmm.
And that needs to change, because women like you need a strong man.
Exactly.
You know, he don't gotta, like you said, he don't have to have everything together, but he can have to be, like you said, ambitious. He gotta have plans and goals,
Mm-hmm.
but pursuing them.
Yeah, you got to be pursuing them. It's a lot of
Wait.
people who make it seem like they ambitious or they got all these goals and these dreams and stuff, but they don't put no action to. You get what I'm saying?
They don't get off the couch.
Exactly. So I don't care about, like, you can have all the ambition in the world or whatever, but if you really not getting up and taking care of your business, like, I know people who got all these plans and all these goals, but they've never taken the necessary steps to get it done. It's
Right.
like, you know, it's so weird to me. So it's like, just like I said, growing up and always having to be a nurturer, and I'm to the point where I deserve to not have to always like be the one to have to build somebody up, and
Yeah.
you know, like, just meet me
That's
at my
respect,
level.
though.
I
That's-
want that, and that's
That's
you
respect.
know.
That's respect. That's respect. That's
But
absolutely
when,
respect.
when I was saying that, that's what I was getting at.
Mhm.
And that's what a lot of women need. And you know,
But you have to be careful of that, because most, I ain't gonna say all, I ain't even gonna say most, because I might get slapped for saying
Be
a
careful.
lot of women, when they say that, they're purely meaning financial. They're basing this brother being qualified to be in their presence based off of his bank account.
Right.
But then a lot of them don't know that they signing up for some misery too
Exactly.
as a result of that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
because you got that bank account, your bank account is up like that, but you be more of a control freak, so you chasing that bank account, and then when you get it, and then he start controlling you,
Yeah.
and taking you from who you are.
Exactly.
Now you miserable. You can go buy anything you want, but
Exactly.
you miserable.
But you miserable.
You miserable.
So, and that's, as far as me saying, like, you gotta have some money. It's not even just solely about that. Just have your stuff together when you come to me, when you step to me. Like, that's why I said right now, I'm a dater. I'm
She
in
said,
my.
when you step to me, when y'all step to her, make sure y'all got y'all.
Just have your stuff together, because I got mine together, and
Now,
I
what's
feel
the
like I
other two?
deserve that.
So that's what's the other two things?
Ooh. I probably shouldn't say
Don't
this,
get
but
shy
this
now.
is just my.
Don't get shy now.
Personally, I don't. Oh dang! Should I say?
What? Listen, you gotta.
You gonna have this conversation
you
with that
gotta-
person anyway.
Right, you gotta claim it. So right now, this what you're doing. We helping you right now, so that you don't have to be awkward in saying it to him. He already know when he come.
I have dated guys with children in the past.
Mhm.
It's not my thing. And there's not anything wrong with that. But personally for me, I've
You don't
had
want no
bad
baby mama drama?
experiences with stuff like that, and it's just like I don't have any children, so I want to build a foundation with somebody who doesn't have children
That's
either.
hard.
It is
It-
gonna
it-
be
it's-
hard because everybody got kids,
gonna
but
be
it's
hard.
like that's one of my main things too. I really don't date guys with kids like at all.
It's so
whatsoever.
crazy because on the flip side of that is I've had women stop dating me because I don't have kids.
What?
They're like, "Oh, you don't got no kids?" Yeah, because they assume that I want some kids. I gotta have some kids.
Oh, okay.
So it's like,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
you know, what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, I ain't even thinking about that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, okay, but no kids. Your
But
bank
you know
account
what?
got to be on.
I need to be a little more open minded.
I seen that post. You made a post about being a little more, or basically being a little more open minded.
No, but did you really see it?
Yeah.
Like you read it?
Yeah, but I can't remember verbatim. But
See,
What?
I be trying.
go ahead, listen, speak your piece.
Okay, so I'm the single friend out of all of my friends, and I'm also the one with no children.
Mm.
So my friends are always telling me like, you got too much of a type. I don't really feel like I do, but then again, maybe I
I do remember that. I was saying, yeah.
you like maybe you need to step outside your box. Like sometimes your type ain't always what you need. But I'm so stuck in my ways. Like I feel like I'm entitled to the things that I like, and I should have that. But my friends, I kind of stepped out on faith,
Uh-oh.
and I went against. I went on a date.
I did remember seeing this.
I went on a date with a guy, and he's been so nice, like really so nice.
Oh, boy.
But it was I won't do it again. I won't do it again. Like I'm like y'all just need to mind y'all business and worry about yourself.
So was he too nice? Yep. You had to think about it. Yep. he was
No,
too nice.
not too nice. I really can't say everything on here, but
Right.
it was not like
What you
him
signed
as a
up for.
person. It just wasn't. I stepped out of my comfort zone and what I like in men and stuff like that, and I was just completely disgusted. Like
Wow.
I was, and I let him know that too. So it ain't
Okay.
like I'm.
I read a post. I actually shared it on my page before. It said the perfect man is a mix between a gentleman. A perfect man has the right amount of sex appeal, thug, and gentleman, or something along that line, right? This is this is what they do. She's smiling, so she don't. That's what she's looking for. Y'all see what she's looking for, but she don't want you with no hammer and no dope though. She don't want that though. She don't
Keep the
want you
hammer.
having to go.
Got the dope.
Get a permit. The
You know?
license.
Yeah, with the license.
Yeah, right. With the license.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
with the
household.
license.
Get the license.
You know. So okay, so now. Just all they got. Just tell them. You ever seen Shimmy and Darnell when they interview me on Pros and Cons podcast? You should watch that. And now they gonna know.
Yeah.
Okay, I ain't this. Yeah, I might as well go on about my business. Don't even
That's
waste my
funny.
time. Waste their time, right? Oh, so tell us about Beauty by G.
Okay, so Beauty by G is, as far as my brow business goes, that's for that. I kind of came up with that name just, I don't know, one day I'm just like, I need like a name for this. It kind of just came out the blue and I just stuck with it. But like I said, I am a brow tech. I just got certified. And yes, and I also got certified.
Don't short yourself.
You do your own eyebrows?
Yes.
You do?
Look at them.
Damn. Okay.
Walking billboard.
That's why I had to.
That's hard.
They
though,
look
ain't it?
Thank you.
Ain't that hard? I would imagine that's hard as heck to
Yeah,
do your
Far's
own.
doing her own.
Yeah, so I specialize in waxing, threading, eyebrows, tinting, everything about like the whole brow feel.
Like this whole part of.
Yes.
Somebody trying to teach me how to do the threading.
Mhm.
My hands too fat. My fingers too
When you say thread, you talking about like threading your eyebrows? Like
Yeah,
how you
so-
sew it in your hair? You talking about?
No.
So basically, you take a piece of thread and you hold it in your hands, and you kind of just scissor it, like you scissor the hairs with the thread off of the eyebrow. It's kind of complicated to explain, but
It's complicated to do
the way
too.
you hold the thread, it tears
Yeah, it
the
tears the
hairs
hairs
off.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
women,
they got all type of stuff, bro.
yeah, it's a lot.
They got all type of
It's
stuff,
a lot.
bro.
I see.
And being in this field, I always have to keep myself educated on like the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I went to get certified in permanent brows. So now I'm basically like a certified tattoo.
That's what I was about to ask you. Because I read an article about Megan Good.
Mhm.
She said she used to. It was a thing back then. She used to cut her eyebrows down
Yes.
so much where they just went.
Yes.
So now she got them permanently tattooed.
She was the
You
first
can do
person
that.
I seen.
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, I didn't know they was permanently tattooed till I read the article.
Yep.
So that's what you do.
Mhm.
And she's nice.
Thank you.
She's nice. So
You
let me
definitely
ask you
got a
this.
steady hand.
Mhm. It takes you gotta have an eye for it, and you gotta have a steady hand, like seriously, because that's like it's permanent. You know, you're
Yeah.
doing a tattoo, a literal tattoo on
So that's
somebody's
like the
face.
tattoo artist doing freehand.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
So let me. I'm throw a curve. Okay, so you got some new stuff coming up. I want to make sure I get that because
Mhm.
you got some new stuff you about to put down,
Mhm.
but you don't want to talk about it right now.
No, I can definitely.
Okay,
speak
let's
about
find
it.
out what you got. What you got going on that you don't put down.
Okay, so I launched my cosmetic line, and it is BBG Cosmetics. BBG Cosmetics is a spin-off of Beauty by G. It's just short for Beauty by G. So BBG Cosmetics, I have products like just makeup and stuff. I'm very girly. I love to do my makeup. I love to get pretty and stuff like that. So this is just a spin-off of my first business. Me being a brow tech, I actually have my own brow palettes, and that's what I'm actually launching. My anniversary when I launched my business, BBG Cosmetics, is on the 29th, so that's when I'm going to be relaunching
Okay.
the new products. It's a lot of dope stuff that I done added, you know, so can't really talk about it too much.
Where they
Everybody
gonna be able to get it
knows.
from?
Everybody will be able to get it from my website, www.bbgcosmetics.net.
Say it one more time, a little louder.
www.bbgcosmetics.net. I'm gonna have a launch party, like a small little launch party. I'll send the details to that like later down the line, but it's some dope stuff coming, so I'm
You
excited
gonna
about
have the party here?
it. Mhm.
And when is your exit from this beautiful city of ours?
Okay, so I'm relaunching my website for my year anniversary. However, I'm doing a launch party / like going away party. I'll officially, you know, if God does everything that I need him to, I'm trying to be gone by the 25th of August. So I am going to have like a launch party and stuff like that. I'm still
I'm gonna be
undecided
looking
on
for
the
my
date.
invitation.
For sure. It's
I
open
own my
invitation.
own. I own no plus one. I own my own.
Everybody is welcome. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
You're gonna be all right.
I
though.
am. I cry about it every other day.
I've watched you, and I've watched you.
Wow. It's
You're gonna
about.
be all right.
It's been knowing. I know been doing about an hour and 15 minutes.
Right, you can tell.
I have a vested interest in you now.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
I want to see you succeed. So
Thank you. I appreciate
that's why I
that.
say I definitely want the invitation. I'm not.
For sure. For sure. I'm gonna make sure you get your invite for surely.
So before we go, I'm about to throw a curveball at you, right?
Uh-oh.
And I'm throwing it at you because you're a young, beautiful single sister,
Mm-hmm.
woman in Youngstown, and you're in an age bracket where a lot of the stuff we're seeing in the city right now
Mm-hmm.
is popping off. How do that make you feel? How do you feel about like all the violence and stuff, man? That's and has that affected you in your decision making?
Okay, so this is something like very touchy for me. Dang, you really put me on the spot. I might start crying.
That's all right.
But with all of this stuff that's going on and my brother being incarcerated, I don't want him to be in there, but I'm kind of grateful that he is.
We've heard that before.
So it's just like him coming home and me about to move all the way to Texas from Ohio, and him coming home and not having proper guidance. In our family, we don't have, and it's just the honest to God truth. I don't hold my tongue, but we don't have any men in our family to look up to. Everybody
How old
is.
your brothers? Not to cut you off.
My brother is 24, 23. And he's been in prison for about 4 years.
Now,
You said you got 2 brothers, right?
that's what I was going to
Hmm. And my youngest is 19.
Where is he at?
He's actually, okay, so my dad, Tracy, that's his son, too.
Okay. Dre?
Jatre.
Okay.
Yeah. That's his youngest baby. He actually raised him.
He just graduated, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he's a great kid. Like,
That's
he's
the one to work with him.
Yes. Yeah, that's my baby.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good kid.
Did
So.
you
I haven't
Got
met
your
him
new
personally
fan.
yet.
Ooh,
Her name's Sahasha. She's
I
actually
don't think I know her.
no, you don't know her. She's
Well,
actually
hi.
from Cleveland. And Shanice said that's my sister. So, go ahead. You want to say
No,
something?
go ahead.
The reason I ask that is because I every opportunity I get, I want to try to not just shine a light, but give these young brothers, because it ain't a whole lot of them, but give these brothers I don't want to miss an opportunity to give these brothers something to think about.
Right.
Like, y'all out here doing this stuff, I want y'all to know how this is affecting people, and how
Exactly.
people is looking at this, so.
It's scary. I don't know if you remember, this was like a month or so ago. It was like a big shooting at a club, and so many people were
The
shot.
torch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time I was going through it, I had a really bad toothache, and I went to the emergency room. And I'm sitting in the emergency room, and the nurses in there like checking all my vitals and stuff like that. And I heard like a stampede of people rushing in the emergency room, but it was so loud to the point where she was scared, and me and her was like in the room like hiding, like she closed the door. We didn't know if like a shooter came in, or we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
We hear people screaming, but you would have thought like the building was shaking. That's how many people. And they was just it was so traumatizing. They was just bringing bodies in. Like, I watched them drag a boy in the hospital, like dragging him, and this girl had blood all over her. And they just put a sheet over him, put him on the, But so they brought so many people in that night, and I could not go to sleep because I just was thinking like that could have been one of my brothers. Like, and with my brother about to come home and him not having any positive role models in our family besides me, and somebody that actually really cares about him like I do, it's very scary moving away that far. Of course I would want him to move.
I was about to say, well, maybe,
Of
that
course
might
I would
motivate
want him
to leave.
It's just kind of one of them things where it's like, for so long I've lived my life for them, my mom and my brothers and them. I have to start living my life for me, because stress can kill a person, and they stress
Absolutely.
me
Say
so
that
bad.
again.
And I can't keep doing that to myself. I'm so young, but I have the mentality of a 40-year-old, because I
You
had
really
to be
do.
an adult
You really
so
do.
early.
I
And
seen
it's
that
so
early when I first met you.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
so
now I can see it.
stressful.
I see it now.
And it's like I'm so afraid for him. And when I seen that night, like all those bodies coming in, I want to say 2 of them lived or something, but 2 passed or something. A guy came in and he was going crazy, and he like, somebody better tell me where my baby is at. He was talking about his son, and he like, I'm gonna tear this hospital up if y'all don't tell me where my son is at. That man had no idea that his son was the one that they dragged in, and he was dead already. And it just broke my heart. Like, I was so emotional. He was losing his mind. Like, where my son? I just want to see him. Like, just tell me my son is okay. So it just kind of hit home, because like, I'm all that he has, you know. That's how it's been forever, like literally forever. Of course we have like family and stuff like that, but my mom and her kids have always been the outsiders, you know. So we had everything harder. It was just a lot different for us. So nobody understand us like we do. We a small gang. So like, it does bother me, because I'm afraid.
Right. Where's your brother mind frame at? I mean, like, you talk to him. Is he still talking this? Not to get in his business or put his business out there. Is he talking the same, or his way of thinking is different?
This is one thing I can say. A lot of people in prison, they talk this good game
That's why I asked you that question.
about them. So of course he talked that to me, like I'm his big sister, I'm his mom. So he want me to think that he, you know, when I come home, I'm gonna be doing this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna have my life together, and I already know what I want to do. But I've heard that from so many people.
This is first time incarcerated?
I'm sorry.
This is first time being incarcerated?
Yeah.
So, speaking for both of us, we can talk to him as soon as he come on. We can put him, or try to put him in positions that, you know, whatever he's trying to do, you know, to steer him in the right direction, so he won't go back to whatever he was doing.
Right.
You know, that's one of our missions that, you know, we trying to do. This is our way of giving back.
Right.
And, you know, if it can help you ease your mind a little bit so you can go do what you got to do, we got to do what we got to do.
Definitely. And I really appreciate that. And he's such a good kid. Even when we were coming up, he was always such a good child, like straight A student. Of course, he was a bad kid. He was a boy, but he was a straight A student. You know,
we is bad.
he was a straight A student. He was into sports and stuff like that. But because we grew up in Camel, so my mom and them being like from the north side and the south side and the east side, we didn't grow up around like our family, because my mom she was in foster care. So I didn't grow up. I knew my family, you know, we'd go to family get-togethers and stuff like that, but life was different for us. We was kind of on the other side. And then my mother moved us to Camel. So that's all we ever knew. My mom actually ended up, we was living in Camel like literally all our life. My mom ended up moving us to the south side. And I remember me crying my eyes out, because I'm like, I'm scared to go to Cheney. I don't want to go to this school. Like, I'm used to my friends over here. I'm used to this type of stuff. I was so afraid of change. Being a child, that's all I knew. So I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go. Like, I cried about it. She moved us to the south side. My mom actually, she started linking up with her old friends and stuff, and that's when she got into her addiction and things like that. And my brother, when my mom started to really lose herself, when she started to hang with her old friends that she ain't seen in years and stuff like that, she really stopped parenting. Like, it was bad before, but now I'm a teenager and I got my first job. I'm like 16. So like, I gotta make sure I got school clothes for me, him, make sure the house is okay. Cause now my mom, she's not a mom no more. She completely lost herself. So I'm trying to keep up with the bills, like everything I can do as a kid. I'm still trying to graduate and stuff like that. I can't do it all. So he was like in the streets, starting to get new friends and stuff like that. And he just kind of became a product of his environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed him, and I just couldn't believe it.
Mm.
But it was so hard on me because, like, he's a teenager now. You know, we only a year apart. He's a teenager now. Now he like, you can't tell me what to do. I ain't got to stay in the house if I don't want to. Of course, my mom isn't parenting, so it's like he running away, not coming home, getting kicked out of school now. You hanging with these new friends, and then he just kind of he became a product of his environment, and it's just been bad ever since.
As most of us do when we don't have no real male influence.
Exactly.
I want to say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for trusting me, right? And I have been thinking about this, and then your people just she say this is big for her. She's not an open book. She doesn't open up, and she's
Ooh.
sharing her story.
That's why you was nervous.
So I appreciate you trusting me
Yes.
enough
Thank
and
you
becoming
for
comfortable
having me.
enough with us to do that, you know. And like I said, I wanted you on here because I know, like, first of all, you handle your business. I'm so proud of you for that. But young sisters need to see it.
Exactly. And I
They
feel
need to
like
see
I
it.
was nervous because I'm really private about certain things as far as how I came up and stuff like that as a child. But if I ever had to share it, I wanted it to be on a positive platform like this,
That's dope.
you know.
Yes, it is.
So
Because you shared stuff with me. You know what I'm saying? When we just, you know, you come into work and we just vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You and so I'm like, hey, wow, like little sister, like she been from the mud, like, you know what I'm saying? And so just seeing you do it, I was hearing before I seen. So when I come home and I'm seeing, I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's
Thank
up,
you.
man, for real. So again, we thank you. We
Thank you
appreciate
for
you. Say
having
tell them
me.
your website again.
www.bbgcosmetics.net. The website launch will be on the 29th. Like I said, I can't say too much about it, but just make sure y'all go clap.
It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be all that stuff that the young people say. that the young people say. Shanisha says she love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love
I'm
you.
proud of you.
Thank you.
And before we go, I wanna because the screen all over there for me to end it, so I don't want to end it yet. But and this is a side note, and I said that I was gonna do this after every one of our podcasts, and actually have something. It actually can involve your brother and yourself if you choose to. But I'm part of an organization called BFO, Building Freedom Ohio, right? And what it is for incarcerated or formerly incarcerated individuals and their families. And what the goal of this organization is to build a political base so that we stop being victimized by the system even after we have come home, served our time and stuff like that. I just, when was it? Friday? When was it? Thursday?
What?
That I got locked up.
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm in a meeting down here, and I get a call from, you know, everyone know I live in Mansfield. I get a call from the sheriff's office in Mansfield saying that I have to come right now to register as a violent offender, or they're gonna put a warrant out for me, right? So I get stuck on the highway trying to get down there. So I get down there late. The lady, who's not even the sheriff, she's the clerk, decided, and I'm trying to be courteous the whole way, right? I'm trying to be, I'm calling my parole officer. He's like, man, just do what you can, da, da, da. So I'm giving her the courtesy. I'm doing, but the more courtesy I'm giving her, the worse she's talking to me. So I finally get down there. She has the sheriff meet me and put me in a holding cell. Had me in a holding cell for an hour just to prove to me that she can lock me up. She tell me they passed the law, they passed the bill in April of 2019. I got out in June 2019. So because I got out in June 2019, this affects me. And the bill is that if you go to prison or you get convicted of a violent offense, then for 10 years you have to register as a violent offender, right? Once a year, and if you don't do it, then they can send you back to prison for 3 years.
Wow.
But people have voted on this, or in our case, a lot of times not voted, and now they just continue. I said, so I'm on parole for 5 years. You telling me that once I make it off parole and I'm completely done with the charge that I was
Still
incarcerated
policing
for
me.
almost 30 years ago,
Right.
that you can still send me back to prison for 3 years if I
Right.
don't come sign this paper? She said, exactly, and I wanted you to know that.
Wow.
And so these are the type of things. I can't get an apartment right now. It's hard for me to find a place to live. I'm
Right.
trying to move back home because I can't pass a background check.
Yeah.
These are the things that constantly are affecting us and our
Yeah.
families. But until we become together as a power block, they're gonna continue to affect us.
Right.
Right? So when that happened to me, I'm like, every chance I get, I'm pushing it, trying to build it, because incarceration, we already know incarceration affects us more than anybody. More than anybody. Right? And they're continuously trying to find new ways to keep us incarcerated. I told my parole officer, just because I can ride up and down the highway don't mean I'm free.
Right.
Because I can't do it without your permission.
Exactly.
That's not freedom. I appreciate being on this side of the fence, but that's not freedom. You know, if I can't buy if I can't get an apartment because because of something that happened over 20 years ago, that's not freedom. I'm still being punished. You're supposed to be able to get your rights back when you're done
Exactly.
paying your penance to society. I'm not. When am I done paying my penance?
Yeah.
What if you all come up with something within this 10 years that adds another 15
Exactly.
years?
Yeah.
Like, it just don't stop.
It
But
never
unless we
stops,
pull
yeah.
ourselves together, then they're gonna continue to have their way with us. And then and people look at it and be like, well, it don't affect me. Sooner or later, it's gonna come to your doorstep.
Yeah.
Whether it be directly or indirectly, through
Yeah.
a family member, a friend, a love, somebody, sooner or later, it's gonna come to your doorstep and it's gonna affect you. So don't wait for it to affect you, not you personally, but just don't wait for it to affect you for you to start affecting change.
Of course. Yeah.
All right. So I just want to get out there. I appreciate it. Again, like my bro said, when he come on, you already know. I told you. Anything I can do for you, I got you.
For sure.
Taking him on, trying to, just give him a little guidance, whatever. Man, that's
I
nothing.
appreciate it.
We appreciate you being on. Proud of you.
Thank you so much for
We
having
appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully y'all got something positive, inspirational out of it, because she's definitely an inspirational young
Yes, she
woman.
is.
Thank you.
Until next time, peace and respect.
See y'all.
And share it on my page.
See, you did good.
I was nervous.
Was you still nervous once you got to talking?
Yes.
Was you?
Sound like it's still on.
Still on? We still building, y'all.